Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode with Love to Live. Today, we're going to be talking about how we can stick to a goal, how we can persevere, and how can we stay goal setting and goal achieving.
So, yes, salutations, greetings, and heartiest gratitude. Welcome to Love to Live. And today we are absolutely speaking about all these qualities, these factors which matters. Because every simple thing, every single thing that we think of, unless we are acting on it, we are not getting closer to our goals. So let's set our standards and get set, go with the goals.
How can we bring the topic of goal setting and setting standards? How can we make that something that we actively do in our life to then help us achieve and to persevere to the things that we want to achieve? So, a few years ago, I worked as a laborer. So, we were doing a house renovation, and I was tasked with repainting the entire interior of this house, all the walls and all the ceilings. So the ceilings were to be painted the standard matte white. So that was pretty easy enough to get a hold of, get the matte white finish that they wanted. And the walls were to be painted just a slight cream color to just give a bit of context, but keep it a quite light themed color in the house to reflect light and to just give it an overall more spacious feel. So that's what these people were going for. So I started on the walls. I started in one of the bedrooms, and mentally I kind of went around the house first to assess how long this would take me. I personally thought that giving a figure to your end goal, when you're going to achieve this by, makes it easier, especially when the task can be broken down into chunks or even into tangible sections. Like doing each room and then ticking off the chunk of progress as you're making it towards that end goal. So painting the entire house was mine. So I started off in one of the bedrooms, painted the wall, started on one wall, painted it cream. The existing color was a slight yellowy color, so magnolia almost. And so I started painting this one wall. And I realized that after I finished the coat of just one wall, one surface, that it's going to need to be painted again, at least one or two more times to stop the old color peering through. So I need to go over this with the new paint quite a few times. And so I took a step back and thought, you know what, that actually took longer than I thought, a lot longer than I thought, because as I was doing it, I kept thinking, right, I'll do this wall, then I'll move on to the next one, then the next one, the next one, all four walls done, room done, move on. And I can actively then try to rush this process of finishing the house so then I can get done and move on to the next task, whatever that would be. But looking back, instead of looking at the wall that I was currently doing, but also thinking about the other walls I had left to do, which almost delayed me in a way. While I was painting the current wall that I had, I was also thinking about, you know what, if I edge over into the corner of the next wall, I can also cut down my process and speed up the time that it takes me to paint the next one. So instead of actually finishing set task in front of me to its completion, I was trying to cut the corner quite literally and say, okay, if I paint the corner in and go over to the next wall while doing the same wall I can do two at the same time. So this actually ended up taking me a lot longer. Looking back on things, I now realize that doing that first room took me so much longer than it could have if I had just focused on one wall at a time, finished it, and moved on to the next one. Done all four walls and then gone for another coat and just repeated that same process. But because I like to think that the way I was doing it was boring and could be done more efficiently, which is not right and not wrong, I had to think that way in order to experiment and test out my theory in my head. So I'm very grateful and I'm thankful for the fact that we have these past experiences where we can kind of look back and say, I could have done it different this time round. But if we hadn't have done it that way round the first time, we wouldn't have learned. We wouldn't have been as efficient.
So true.
So be thankful for the kind of errors and the long way round that in the past we've thought it was a shortcut, but was actually the long way around. Be thankful for those chances that you get to go down that and experiment doing things in different ways, because then you ultimately know what way works faster for you. So I found out that doing one wall at a time, even though it seemed the most boring way in my mind, was actually the most efficient. And so now I've tried to take this lesson of just sticking to set task and finishing it before moving on to the next one. I've really been trying to implement in that in my life. And it takes time and it does take practice to be able to successfully say that yes, I do everything as soon as it's dropped on the table, so to speak. I'll do it there and then, I'll get onto it and finish set task. It takes some progress to get to that point, and I'm definitely on that journey. I'm trying to actively do things as much as I can and not half-heartedly doing them. If I'm going to do something and I know it can't be achieved right here, right now, I'll put a pin in it. I'll stop it exactly where I know I've put in full effort. I've done as much as I can for now. I'll pause it and I'll come back to it later. That's now an approach that I've started to take and taking on a lot more things that helps me in the way I do things. So instead of thinking of it as success is however much I achieve in this one session, success is built up over a period of time,
Right.
over a period of successful sessions.
True.
And it's your definition of success in the first place. I should mention that. It's what you deem a success. If you achieved something today, then you can count that as a success. If it's achieving something towards a bigger goal, then it's breaking down chunks. It's painting one wall at a time. It's a success. So I'm starting to see the little accomplishments I do as a series of successes that build up in future. Now, there might not be a direct goal like there was when I'm painting the wall. I paint one wall, eventually I'll paint the whole house. You might be wanting to build something, a skill that you do every day in your life. It could be going for a morning walk. It could be doing a morning stretch as you get out of bed in the morning. It could be having a sip of warm water each morning. It might not be directly related to something as an end goal, like drinking warm water every day will definitely lead to this being this dot 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 thing happening. You might not have that direct correlation to something in the future, but a positive habit like drinking warm water, and or at least taking the time to just sip the warm water and kind of a bit of mindfulness, act out a bit of mindfulness
True.
at some part in your day. It's these little positive exercises that 100% going to build towards success, because you're doing something small that's successful. So what happens when you add small success onto other bits of smaller success? They become bigger success. So it's stepping stones, it's building blocks. It's using examples that you've already lived through in your life. It's already using life lessons that you've learned, in the past, to kind of look back and say, I did this that way. Now, can I do it a different way, or do I need to tweak that way, or do I need to still do it the same way? It's actively looking back in your life and using past experience that you personally have gone through. That's a very powerful way of solidifying and connecting the goals that you want to achieve with previous success that you can look back and see. So the topic of today was,
Setting up standard.
so how do you set a standard that you want
Setting
to
up
keep
standard.
in the current time and future? Look to the past and see where you've previously set standards. See where you've previously set standards in the past, and then use those now to propel yourself going forward. So most of the time we can look around us, in fact look at our own lives, and use that as a way, as a measure of setting our own standards. Okay, to set your own standard is something that success is built on. Okay, it's your own success, right? Because it's your own drive, it's your own achievement. It's setting yourself up for a standard and then meeting that standard. So it's something that you build and then something that you create and achieve whilst building this thing. So it's okay to take your time on this journey. It's okay to take your time whilst trying to uphold yourself to those standards that you have set. And it's okay to also change where you've set that standard whilst you're on your journey. Keep raising your standard as you keep evolving yourself. That's an excellent way to do this. So if I achieve my standard of drinking warm water every day in the morning, if I am now a few weeks consistent, it's now a standard that I just do. It's something that I just do, like you just brush your teeth, or most people do anyway. It's just part of the standard of things that I achieve. It's just part of my personal standard. So you raise that standard. Once you brush your teeth, you're not going to just stop there. If you have extra food in your mouth, you might rinse out, you might floss, you might brush twice a day. And once you've achieved certain standards that okay, fine, I'm at a good level now in this aspect, I'll now raise a standard in something else that I want to achieve. There's infinite things that we can raise our standards in, and there's also infinite amount that we can raise our standards to. So it's playing between the two. It's using a balance of both to really just live your life and have fun with it.
Absolutely, absolutely. This actually reminds me of a brilliant story that I was reading today morning. So the story starts that there was a guy, 27 years old, and he has been practicing music professionally. And he was a full-time musician, and he has been practicing his music since his childhood. As he was pursuing on his journey of becoming one of the greatest musicians of America, he suddenly realized one day that whatever I'm making, it's just enough for me to survive, sustain my living. And he just wanted something better, something not only for himself but also for his surroundings. He only had one skill, one passion in his mind, that is music. I live for my music and the music lives with me. So all he wanted was to make CDs, sell his CDs. So he tried exploring the market, and at that time, CDs could not be sold directly without any distributors. And getting tied up with one of the distributors was also, it was a problem in it, not a problem. What do I say about this word?
It was a challenge.
It was a challenge in itself, big love. So it was a challenge in itself. So once he understood the challenge, he wanted to overcome this challenge, and instead of finding a different route, he worked in the most simplest way by working on the present. He focused on the present scenario, he focused on the present moment. What needs to be done? The first goal, which was in his mind, was to sell his CDs. Second thing, the distributors, they had their own terms, which was really complex, and he did not want to get into all these complexities and instead focus, give more time to his music compositions. Third and final thing, something that he can control, that he can be the master of. And this is how he made his own e-commerce store. For the first time, he made his own e-commerce store selling his DVDs without a distributor. This guy invested $1,000 in creating his e-commerce store, and once he was done with that, he did some hard work. He did some studies on how he can run his own business, how he can run his own e-commerce store, and eventually, when he launched his CDs, his music albums, his friends got very interested. His friends got really enthusiastic and started approaching him. Brother, can you help me out by publishing my CD albums on your website as well? And like this, he started helping his friends as a favor. And from one friend, it got multiplied to 10 other friends, and from 10 to hundreds. And even before he could understand, he accidentally started his own business. In the meantime, he also went to some of these local stores and shops, where he asked, like, if I sell one of my CD albums through your store, what's the formalities? What's the rule and regulation? And the store people, they just said that whatever price you set up for your CD, we will just take a $4 cut from that. That's it. He went back home. He posted on his e-commerce store that if you guys really love my music, if you want to buy my CDs from your local stores, I give you the liberty, set your own price where I will take only $4 cut from that, and the rest is whatever you guys set. So all the fans, all the people, all the audiences, they set a price of $25. And this is how he started seeing that yes, the store people are also happy with their cut. The profit is also coming. And eventually, after 2, 3 years, he observed that $25 is okay, but $35 is also better. Raised his value, and not only his value, but his audience's value as well. And like this, he just accidentally started a business. Now that I have accidentally started my business, I need to grow that. And to grow that, I need my authenticity, the soul of my business, that is my music. I need to be focused on that. I cannot keep on running business but not focusing on my music compositions. And like this, he started diversifying, he started expanding. Eventually, within 6 years, he was worth $22 million. And yeah, once you are present, once you know what you want right now, if you can see a problem in your mind, write that down on the piece of paper. And what's the current solution that you can give to it? What's the present solution you can give to it? And once we start being in the present, once we start creating, generating our own value, we start establishing ourselves as the signature. We start establishing our value to the world. And obviously, the way we treat ourselves is how the world treat us. So yeah, keep making errors, keep doing wrong things. But with the consciousness, you cannot stay stuck in that thing. Keep growing, keep learning from your errors, and every day just be present, because even accepting failure is a success. Facing failure is also a success, because you are facing failure. The reason is you're trying. 99% fail even in trying, but when you're trying on your day one, instead of thinking that one day I will try, you're making that one day into a day one, and you're trying that moment. You try, you already have set goals, you have already set a standard in your mind, a benchmark. This is how my perfection looks to me. You try, you fail the first day, absolutely perfect. You keep on trying, you keep on learning new things, you keep on trying and experimenting different things, and one day, even before you know, you'll be kissing success, you'll be living success, because success is a mindset. As you can accept failure and make peace with it, learn from the failure, the more you learn, the more you earn. And you have earned your success in your mindset. So, yeah, keep learning, keep earning, and be successful every second, every moment, and every breath of your life. Big love. Beat it.
Excellent. Yeah, to just add to the word of success, it's what it means to you. I'll say this again. It's your definition of success. So even the fact that you're trying to do something, even the fact that you're doing something, let's say it is towards that goal of having 100 ml of warm water every day, getting up out of bed and heating that water up, or pouring it in a thermal flask the night before so it stays warm when you wake up. Taking any action towards that goal is success.
Absolutely.
Start to see success as a journey rather than just a destination, because then that's when the real magic allows you to see it more but also the real magic can kind of flow into your life more because you're not holding yourself to a standard of success that is only achieved once you can tangibly see it and feel it, or once you got there. It's a standard of success that you are growing and also becoming more and more successful while on a journey towards something.
True.
But the most important part of being a successful person and setting standards is the journey itself, is the setting of those standards. It's going through those standards and realizing that these standards need to be changed because I'm going through them now. You're actively going on a journey that's working towards something. So along the journey, you will actively make decisions and different choices that may affect those standards. In other words, you may want to raise them because you're realizing that you're achieving them quite quickly or you've already achieved it. So you need to now raise it so you can go on to something even better in your own eyes. So things like this, it's being present in your life whilst doing what you're doing, on the journey to achieving, but being present enough with the actual journey itself so that you can move a milestone closer, increase milestones accordingly to your journey. So it allows you to keep moving at the correct pace or at the standard that you want to. So success is a journey and it's about becoming more successful whilst on that journey of success. So in other words, success is a cycle that keeps happening. So set your standards high and don't worry too much about where you've set your standards because we can always change them later on down the line. Absolutely. The main thing is have a standard, set yourself a standard. In other words, a goal or a partial goal before you get to the main goal. So a standard that you're achieving. So you're on the right direction. It's about these milestones and standards. Have them. Don't worry too much about if they're the right type or if they're at the right level. Just have them because you'll know exactly where to move it once you start that journey.
Absolutely.
So set your standards. It's all part of success. And success will inevitably be part of your life if you're going to take action towards doing something, You get what you give. So you give action, you're going to get actionable results. So from us, that's been today's episode. We wish you all the best until next time. Continue just doing you, Continue trying to make an active improvement in one way or another in things that you do on a day-to-day. And love to live.
Absolutely.
That's the goal here.
Absolutely. So, yeah, before signing off and before taking the permission to leave, another thing I really want to remind every one of you guys that is, in this digital era, a lot of people are getting disconnected even though we are trying to connect through the social medias and stuff. If you really wish to connect, seriously, be present, stay connected. And how you can connect with us? By reflecting your thoughts, by sharing your comments, by sharing your suggestions, as we are all open to all of you guys. We are here together so that we can love to live, we can grow together, we can glow together, we can learn together, we can earn together. Everything in our life, everything in our life, whatever we think of, even in the subtle way, everything is heard, everything gets manifested. So let's connect and let's grow together. Let's manifest success together. And yes, love to live. And we will see you on our next podcast. Big love till then. Keep smiling, enjoy life. Love to live, that is.